SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
Never take your heart health for granted. For just $99, you can get a complete screening and know your risks. Call 601-249-5198 to schedule your Happy Healthy Heart screening at Southwest Mississippi Regional Medical Center.
What's up, everybody? Welcome in on this Sunday night, a very chilly Sunday night where I sit, a little bit different for a whole lot of you. The images, I know you guys have seen them all. A lot of you are presently living through them at the moment. Basically, everything north of where I sit and west of where I sit has gotten hit hard with a pretty devastating ice storm. A lot of the state, a lot of that part of the state, like if you just kind of draw a line just north of where I am across and then up, the state of Mississippi is really dealing with it right now. We got lucky. I mean, obviously power's still on here. They canceled school tomorrow, but that's more of just like an abundance of caution thing. We are, for all intents and purposes, we're okay. But the images that I've seen, that I know you guys have seen across the state, obviously, especially in Oxford, because that is like the epicenter of, Ole Miss fan culture and stuff. Everybody has seen those, but it's not just there. You guys are going through it right now, and just know that those of us that are not that are having to see this from the outside, we're thinking about you, we're praying for you. It looks brutal and devastating, and I know there are a lot of people that are working really, really hard right now to try to restore power and bring everything back to normal. But, man, it's hard to look at those. I mean, it looks like an ice tornado went through a lot of these places, and it's hard to see. Pretty iconic landmarks that are involved in some destruction. And, frankly, it's not necessarily over yet. You've got another freeze incoming. I'm looking at my app tomorrow. It's not going to get above 24, but we're praying and thinking about you. And we know that you guys will bounce back, because that's what you do. That's what Mississippi does, man. No matter what, you guys will recover, but we're thinking about you. We're praying for you, and welcome in if you are here to this edition of the Rebel Report podcast. My name is Michael Borky. I always appreciate you being here no matter what you're doing. Tonight, Ole Miss added one player in the portal, but it's one we've been talking about for weeks. It was a desperate need. We'll talk about that and just kind of read some of your comments. Because we spent so much time talking about the Dabo thing last night, we don't need to rehash that. It might even be a little bit of a shorter stream tonight, but that's okay. I'm just glad that you guys are here and safe and able to watch a live stream tonight. I do want to invite you, please, if you're watching or listening on YouTube, subscribe to the podcast feed. I really want you to subscribe to the podcast feed. Wherever you get your podcast, just search Rebel Report and subscribe and leave a rating and a review. The growth numbers are something that I am incredibly happy about. So, yeah. Thank you for that. Don't forget to subscribe. Also, this edition of the show is brought to you by Logan Smith Shelter Insurance. He will take care of you anywhere in Mississippi. If you're within the walls of this state and you need home insurance, auto insurance, life insurance, or with your business, Logan Smith Shelter Insurance will take care of you. 601-823-3500. 601-823-3500. That's the phone number. He's got award-winning service. And again, if you have auto insurance, if you have life insurance, if you have home insurance, it's still worth the call. You might be blown away at how good Logan Smith's service is, and what's the harm in getting a quote? So check him out, Logan Smith Shelter Insurance. He will take care of you anywhere in the state of Mississippi. I was sent a second ago somebody making a joke out of Oxford's expense. I believe it's somebody that, works for the Baton Rouge ESPN station. The social media director there, Vern Funquist on Twitter, says somebody shared a picture of an image that you guys have seen on the square. light pole down, overhanging trees, devastation on the square. And he said somehow Lane Kiffin's fault. And then in the replies, he called it an all-time overreaction. I don't know about you guys, but, I have at times made poorly timed jokes and things like that. When you see the possibility of people going days, if not a full week, in sub-freezing temperatures without power or the ability to get it, the first thing that you shouldn't think of is how to make a joke about Lane Kiffin, who now coaches the football team in your backyard. Maybe just save the joke for literally anything else, just literally anything else. Save the joke. That would be, the decent thing to do. I mean, I was talking to somebody earlier who's got an elderly grandparent that lives in Oxford, and they're trying to get there and help them. And it's, just because you see like people online making jokes doesn't mean it's not real life humans that are dealing with real life stuff. Anyway, I don't know. It's pretty sad to see what has gone on up there. So I hope you guys are okay. All right, the transfer. We've talked a lot about this portal class, and just in and of itself, they did a very good job with this portal class and roster retention, right? We've talked about that a bunch. I'm kind of a repetitive guy. It's something that I do. So forgive me for that, but we've talked about roster retention and frankly how good they did. In the portal era, you're going to lose players. It's going to happen. But generally speaking, when Lane Kiffin got on that airplane, if you'd have told me that Kewan in Trinidad and Deuce Alexander and Will Eccles and Centarian Perkins and the 3 interior offensive linemen and on, Braxton and Kite and Cam Franklin and even some of the backups on the defensive line deciding to stick around, the tight end room being intact, Daquan Wright obviously going to the NFL, but they did a hell of a job in roster retention, and this portal class looks really good. I like what they've done at running back behind Kewan Lacey. I think the wide receiver room has a chance to be good and talented. I love, and I mean love, the back end of the defense paired with what they have returning, what they've added at safety and cornerback. You've got some real talent in the back end of that defense. I would have liked for them to have had one more linebacker, but the trio of linebackers you should feel really good about. The one position that we talked about over and over and over again was offensive tackle. And that was the big issue, was offensive tackle. Again, they returned their interior 3. They lost Harper to LSU, and I wonder how he's feeling right now, considering how they've essentially just recruited over him. Whatever that check, you hope it's worth it, because it doesn't sound like they anticipate on starting him, barring something unforeseen. So probably, in hindsight, a bad decision, because he'd be starting for Ole Miss in 2026. But alas, they desperately needed help at offensive tackle. Terez Davis returning. He does have a little bit of starting experience at his previous stop, but I mean, that was it. You had a bunch of reserves hit the portal, guys that probably weren't going to factor in anyway, but lack of depth and lack of bodies at offensive tackle. They've already added the Florida transfer. We talked about him earlier. They added Kern. We talked about him earlier, but still, those are your only 3 offensive tackles going into this season. One of them has not taken a snap of college football yet. One of them hasn't played yet. And so they needed to add one more, and they did over the weekend. Tommy Kinsler is his name. He's a Miami transfer. He's a redshirt sophomore. He's from Ocala, Florida. I actually think that he went to the same high school that what are my cousin's kids? What are they? Are they my second cousins? I think that's where they go to school, actually, is where he went to school. I could be wrong. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. The point is they needed a body in the offensive tackle room, and they got one. It was down to Ole Miss and Auburn. Saw some quotes where it sounded like he was getting penciled in to play right tackle, even though he's got some flexibility at the position. I don't know what else they envision there on the offensive line. Maybe some guys that did stick around are going to get some run at tackle. I don't know. But when it comes to the four guys that played offensive tackle at their previous stop or can play offensive tackle, there's four of them, right? Davis, Kern, the Florida transfer, and now the Miami transfer in Kinsler. You need two of them to really work out. And frankly, you really need three. So that's a very when we're talking about position battles and spring practice and all that stuff going into next season, it's those four guys that there are the most questions about out of any position on Ole Miss's roster. And all of the other ones, I think you should just simply kind of have faith in. I'm very high on the roster construction going into 2026, with the exception of tackle. That doesn't mean these guys won't work out. It's just they have not been able to prove it yet. Kinsler, not a starter for Miami. Now, if you look at who was the starter for Miami, it's okay that he didn't start. He can still be a high-quality player, but he doesn't have that experience. So those four guys are going to be and should be the most paid attention to, watched, looked at, scrutinized, whatever group this offseason. Now, John Garrison did a hell of a job with that group this year. Apparently, Jaden Williams at the East-West Shrine game that's going on this week, apparently he's turning heads there. As you guys know, Diego Pounds didn't give up a sack. That offensive line got better and better as the season went on. So Garrison obviously pulling the right strings, and I won't question him until given a reason to question him after after the performance that they put out. But there's still a big question mark there. And I think that position very well could be, football's a little bit more complex than this, but that position is the difference between this team being an expected, contender to make the playoff again and coming up short, as if they can't get it figured out at tackle. But they added three guys in the portal. They returned one who they added from the portal last year. There is upside, but there's a lack of experience as well. So they did what they needed to do. They needed a body in that room for sure. They got him. They fought off Auburn to get him. I assume he got him in and out before the weather came. And I think the class is, generally speaking, complete. There's a chance that they're not done adding, but when it comes to the priority of the roster and what they needed to add, I think they have addressed every possible need. When Princewell left, they got a pair of edges. Good to go, right? When Daughtery left, they added linebackers. Like they've gone one for one in either replacing a need ahead of time or losing players late and replacing a need. This is the end of that. So they very well could bring on another player or two. But when it comes to addressing the desperate needs, they did that. They did that. So there's a lot to like about this portal class, and we'll obviously see how it works out. We'll get to your comments and let you go early, although I know that the game ended and we know who's going to be playing in the Super Bowl. It was good to see the Rams get away with yet another pass interference in the NFC Championship, but at least they weren't rewarded for this one. So Seahawks, Patriots in the Super Bowl. I don't hate it. I kind of like the Vrabel story. Drake May, and as weird as this sounds, Drake May and his wife seem like cool, normal people, like easy to root for. And the Darnold story is good and interesting. I mean, what is it, his fourth team that he's on now? Finally figured it out. So there's a lot to like about the Super Bowl matchup. So, and the weather in Denver today was awesome too. So anyway, that was fun. Scotty Scheffler won today again. Scotty Scheffler in the last 36 events is winning at a rate that Steph Curry hits three-point shots. There's your stat of the day. Scotty Scheffler is winning PGA Tour events at the same rate that Steph Curry hits three-point shots. There's your stat of the day. Priority One Bank, they make you their priority every single day. They've got a great online banking platform. All you need is an internet connection. You can do whatever it is that you need to do with your money because it's in the name. That's what they do at Priority One Bank, local loan servicing and decision-making as well. So you'll get to know the person that is making financial decisions for you because that's what they do at Priority One Bank. Also, Advantage Business Systems for all your office technology needs, absms.com. First comment, praying for my Mississippi friends. Stay safe. Glad you and your family are good. Borky, yeah, we're good. Everybody, we are all safe, all good. Nobody lost power. So it's all good around here. We the Borky clan is safe and all good. Although I did promise somebody. I'm getting a green screen, by the way, so you won't be able to see my office anymore. It's one of those, I don't know if it's going to work or not. I got it on Amazon. It straps to my chair, and it's like this goofy little like round thing. I hope it's big enough because I'm just going to green screen it. I have a lot of work to do in here, and it's just kind of like, frankly, it's ugly and unprofessional. And more people are listening to this and watching this than I was expecting, to be honest with you. And I'd rather not go because, like, the SuperTalk studios are beautiful, right? They're palatial, very well done. But I don't want to be at the office until 11 o'clock at night. You know what I mean? If I don't have to. So I do the home setup for the podcast. But it needs to look better. I don't need the curtain rod thing going on. But you guys have probably seen that there's a fish tank right there that is empty. I promised somebody we'd get some fish for that fish tank. We're just going to try guppies. They're hardy. It's a small tank. But I promised we would go do that this weekend, and then obviously the weather kind of screwed that up. So that's fortunately for us, we know how lucky we are. That's the worst thing that's happened to us this weekend. So praying for everyone else in Oxford. It is, man, it's tough up there. Hearing people describe, like I was talking to somebody earlier today that described last night after they lost power. It was hard to sleep because you could just hear trees popping. We just couldn't sleep because that pop would wake you up. Not sure if they are still shopping for another offensive lineman. Hearing anything on that front, I wouldn't surprise me if there's any. The question is, are there any available to shop for? I still think they need, if they can, add another body, especially at tackle. I think the interior is pretty well established, but yeah, if there's another tackle out there that will come for the right price, then yeah, I do think you need to continue exploring that. That's a weird question, but you were rewatching the Sugar Bowl last night and saw Austin Thomas on the sideline with a headset. Do you know much about his background? Obviously, he's the GM. Frankly, I don't know. Well, I mean, sometimes it's just good for somebody in his position to be informed, right? Or I don't know. I don't know why he would have had a headset on. I assume if he's making personnel decisions, then, you know, he needs to be as informed as possible, right? So, had power go out for a few hours and a tornado close by. Are you in Texas? I saw that video of the tornado in Texas. That was nuts. Oxford made Fox News for storm issues. Do you know just how bad it is? Yeah, I mean, power has been restored for some people there. Actually, but no, it's the tree damage in particular is devastating, and the problem is obviously the big old trees in Oxford, which are gorgeous and kind of like set the aesthetic of the town. You know, people have houses that are underneath those trees, and the businesses are underneath those trees, and then when you get that much ice just sitting on them for days, those limbs get heavy, those limbs break, and then it becomes a serious issue. I mean, there are so many down power lines and stuff like that. It's tough. It's tough. You like the low ratings for the portal? Good for us. Better price to get players. Some of the rankings for these portal guys, not just Ole Miss. I mean, it applies to all of them. I mean, I scratch my head sometimes looking at these portal rankings. You have like a 3-year starter or a 2-year starter that's super productive that gets a 3-star, but a guy that was a 5-star in high school that hasn't been crap for 2 years still gets a 4-star slapped onto him. It's like, why? He hasn't at all produced in any way, shape, or form. I don't get it. Oxford is crazy right now. Never heard anything like the sounds you heard last night. See, there you go. It's It's scary to think about. I mean, we heard it a couple of times today. My neighbor actually has a pine that is just not doing well. Huge pine. We've got big pines in the neighborhood. Mine somehow has been fine. I've got 3 in the back, and none of them we haven't even lost a limb yet. He's had like 4 big, like crack, drop, like big limbs. So he's got a pine that's struggling back there. Luckily, none of them have hit the house, but even just hearing that is scary. And we're not dealing with what you guys are dealing with up there at all. 4 O-line guys this cycle. So, yes, they added the 3 tackles, and then gosh, his name's escape. I will learn all these guys' names. I promise. It's just so much to keep up with. The center from Oklahoma also on board, Troy Everett. So I guess he can play both center and guard if he needs to. But yes, defensive line is what you're most intrigued by. I absolutely love the depth that they have on the defensive line. Absolutely love it. It's a very good group. What I'm a little concerned about is, aside from Eccles, do they have like the super like high level player? Eccles is a first round pick. He's elite, and truly like elite by the denotation. Right, he is that guy, but I'm worried. Franklin needs to take a step forward. He needs to take another one. The Oregon and Alabama transfer need to reach their potential, stuff like that. But I think the depth and the playable depth on this defensive line is Maldonado, another one, the transfer. He looks talented. The playable depth I think they have on the defensive line is greater than that of this past season. Think we'll hear anything on Chambliss soon, probably this week. Patriots all the way. Honestly, James, I don't have a rooting interest. Headed to Casa de Campo in Dominican Republic on Wednesday. Come join us, play Teeth of the Dog, and die for in mid-80s weather. Teeth of the Dog and die. Okay, I got to Google this. Teeth of the Dog Golf Course in La Romana, Dominican Republic. Oh my gosh. Hope you can hit the ball low. It'll be windy for you. That is gorgeous, man. I am very jealous of you right now. Looks like it just got a fresh renovation, too. Man, I love playing ocean golf. And it's not like I'm any good, but I do love the challenge of high winds. It interests me. I don't know. It's like I engage a little bit more. Man, I'm jealous. Enjoy yourself down there, man. Drake May is going to have a hard time against the Seahawks. Pels pulled off a couple of nice wins this weekend. Yeah, and, I would be mad that they're winning at this point, because that would mean that their draft pick gets worse, but they don't have one. So they're going to trade for Ja. And Zion and Ja together is just, I don't know, man. At least it's interesting, I guess. How are the Buffalo Goldfish? Oh, let me tell you, they are incredible. So if you guys don't follow me on Twitter, Goldfish now they have the Goldfish pretzels. Those aren't new, but they have Goldfish hot buffalo seasoned pretzels. They look like that. I got them at Kroger. They are unbelievable. They are absolutely unbelievable. an F1 tornado in Geneva, Alabama, where you live. Damn, man, I'm sorry. Gosh, sorry, I cussed too, but the green screen is overrated. I know, but honestly, I'm going to start doing some things in here. That are going to be more like custom and personal, right? And I already shared too much of my life online. So like, anyway, we're going to do some things in here that are a little bit different. Ice finally hitting us in Louisiana and Southwest Mississippi, praying for everyone up north. You guys too. Die 4 is the other course. So I would assume that's a Pete Dye course, right? Where scenes from Apocalypse Now were filmed? That's interesting. Oh, man. You know that for some reason that looks like the Tennessee River to me. I know that's a stupid thing to say, but that's what that looks like. Wow. What a cool golf course. Nestled above, I guess that's like a ravine or something. Beautiful golf course. Man. Very excited to see the baseball team. What a letdown basketball has been. Man, and the thing is, there they were again, another opportunity. It's what killed them in the non-conference. But they had a game. They're in Rupp, right? That they had chances, and 3 offensive rebounds given up on missed free throws. It's just little things like that this team does not do well. They're a poor rebounding team already, and that's kind of been a big negative on Chris Beard's teams, is being poor rebounding teams. But that to me, that's not luck. They got unlucky at times yesterday. That did happen. Bad bounces, stuff like that, just typical basketball stuff. But when you give up 3 offensive rebounds on missed free throws in a 1-score game, that's not anything other than, this is going to sound kind of cheesy, but willpower. You don't want it as much as your opponent if you are willing to give up 3 offensive rebounds on missed free throws. Never wish time away, but I'm looking forward to sitting on LSU live streams a year from now and listening to them explain why they underachieved with a $40 million roster. Might even be more expensive than that. Had myself sold that basketball is going to be our best sport this year all summer. Can't believe how off. Everybody was off. And the thing is, you watch this team play, and there are moments, like yesterday, there are moments where it's like, I see the vision, right? I see how this team was expected to be good. I see why they thought this team was going to be good. They have moments, flashes of 5-10 minutes of, like this team does have it in them, but they cannot put 40 minutes of basketball together consistently enough. And closing games, although they did with State and Missouri and Georgia, they're not consistently good enough there. They're not doing enough, and they're just simply not good enough. At the end of the day, coming up short tells you how close they are, but it also doesn't matter, because if you keep losing close games, you're just not a good team. So it's frustrating. It's absolutely frustrating, because this team should be better than what they are right now. They should be better. And baseball now is essentially 2 weeks away, and maybe they'll deliver. Also, I'm very curious to find out what spring practice will look like. I think that'll be it can be anyway, hopefully, something that will materialize. No, that's not the right word. Something that will become a thing again, because they don't have to fear about the second portal window. They can have practice. They can give fans access and stuff like that. Again, I think that would be interesting too. I think they'll run a package where Trinidad and Deuce Knight are on the field at the same time next year. I don't know if they'll do that. I do think, though, you're going to see some diversity in goal line packages. I'll be honest, I didn't watch every snap of East Carolina football last year, but it does feel like when they get into those goal-to-go situations, they go under center. They use a fullback. I think you're going to see more two-back stuff as well, and they have a running back room that would allow them to do those things. I think that I like what I saw from, in particular, the goal-to-go stuff in that offense. The short yardage looked a little bit made a little bit more sense to me. But what do I know? Literally nothing. Any good details we need to know about some notable transfers for baseball? We'll do a big baseball preview. We'll have a guest and do all that stuff probably this week, maybe even into this week. We'll start doing that. I'll do a couple interviews for the radio show and I'll bring them here and we'll do that. So watching the AFC Championship as a Bills fan made me wish the ice took my internet. Oh, man. They will get there. They will get there. Had a friend who would describe some players as just good enough to get you fired. Ole Miss basketball has a lot of those players this season. No kidding. I mean, obviously he's not going to get fired, but the type of player that they are is absolutely that player. Hopefully they will work on tackling this spring. Got to get better tackling, and you know how you get better tackling, you get better players in part. That does help if you have better players, and I do think in the back end of their defense, at safety in particular, they had to upgrade at a couple of spots. They play a lot of 5 defensive backs on the field at the same time, including safeties, obviously. And 2, sometimes 3 of them were adequate, and the other 2 were outright liabilities. And frankly, before Braxton got back, and then Kite got hurt too. I mean, you had some talent issues at corner that they have addressed. Now those guys need to hit, but talent evaluations defensively have been pretty darn good. Not perfect, not flawless, but pretty darn good. Hear talk about 2 backs in at the same time. Yeah, I think that you're going to see some more of that in this offense. Some more tight end usage as well, or some good tight end usage. Not that this offense didn't use tight ends, they did, but I think you will continue to see that as well. That's why stockpiling 20 wide receivers in this portal class didn't make any sense. They had to address needs at wide receiver, but they don't need 20 of them. Anyway, so. All right, guys, I'm going to get going. We talked a lot last night and did here tonight as well. So I really appreciate you guys. We're actually going to do the radio show tomorrow, but a lot of our stations are down. They're working hard. A lot of people are working hard to get them back up. But we will have, the stream going and stuff like that. So if you guys are snowed in, iced in with nothing to do, Hey Dad and I will be live tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to that and just talking more sports with you guys then. So you guys have a good night. Stay safe out there. Stay warm. Check on your people. And I'll see you guys tomorrow if you're a radio show listener. If not, I will see you on Tuesday night. See y'all soon.
A SuperTalk Mississippi media production.